There we go. All right. Should be streaming now. Sweet. All right. Like my Instagram post said, I've got some new glass, so I'm going to try and figure out what I want to do with it. I've got some ideas, but I need to work out those ideas. Welcome to Theodore's Workshop. All right, let's take a look at this glass, right? We got this guy, kind of polka dotted green. Looks nice. This blue. Also nice. I'm really happy with the glass. So that's always a good thing, to be happy with what you buy. It's hard buying glass because you're buying it online, so you don't exactly know what it's going to look like. Ooh, this one's got some like iridescence on the back. That's pretty fun. It's got this like, is there like any pink in that? Not just like white and cream. It's like a cream color. Really nice blue. Big fan of this blue. It's like root beer color. That's gonna be great for a lot of like in between stuff. This yellowish color. It's like a amber. And then last but not least, maybe my favorite piece. Look at that. So many different colors going on here. Love it. I love it. Okay. So there's a couple things I want to do today. The first of which is I want to... Also, Spotify is not working for some reason, so I don't have music. Sorry. The first of which is I want to, kind of draw, figure out what I want to do. But I do have an initial idea, and then I want to test another thing I came up with. So what I want to test this time, I can draw it so it's a little bigger, is, so you'll see why I want to do this. But if you have an edge of glass like this, I want to cut in a groove that goes like this, right? That flares out on either end. I want to do that such that I can put glass like this, or copper like this, and it'll fill in this gap and hold the whole piece of glass. So the reason why I'm thinking of doing that is because, so erase all this, because if I have a petal, flower petal, in the past I've been, foiling this part right here, right here. Foil this color. I've been foiling this, right? But what I'm thinking of doing is just foiling here and here on either side, because what I want to make right now, can you see that okay? Hopefully you can. Here, I'll make it bigger. Foil there and there on either side, because what I want to do today, or the next project, not today, it's going to take way too long to do today, is I want to make a flower lamp. So if this is foiled like that, and we have another petal coming out this way, and another petal coming out this way. Maybe one behind, right? Another one behind. And we've got foil here and here only. And then we put a middle piece of glass that comes around like this. That's foiled all along the edge. Right? I want to do it like this with the glass on the sides, or I want to see if I can do it like this with the cut-ins on the side of the glass and not on the edge, so that when I have a light source, say right here, it not only hits the surface of the glass and hopefully bypasses the foil, but also hits this edge of the glass, hopefully illuminating the entire petal. Is that glare of the light hard to see? Here, let me bring that closer. So yeah, the idea is if there's a source of light here, the light's hitting the edge of the glass pieces and illuminating the entire petal with light, so that it's bypassing this copper foil ring that's holding everything together. That's the idea. That's what I want to test to see if I can do. Because if I can, that'd be awesome. And I think that would bring out a lot of possibilities, right? Because I bought this week a strip of LED lights. And I also bought a hollow copper tube. So what my initial plan is, obviously I'm not going to use all this glass, but my next project, what I think I'm going to do, is make a sunflower lamp. This will be the stem. I'll cut it somewhere down here. I'll run the wire in the middle of this, have a couple branches of leaves coming off, have this attach to the bottom of the sunflower, have some LEDs. I'm not going to use this entire strip of LEDs. I'll probably cut it, the first or the second or something. However much I can kind of fit in there without it being too crowded or too casting shadows on itself, I guess. And then do this sort of situation with the petals, so that in theory, I will get light coming out of the face of the flower, the back of the flower, and then also illuminating all of the petals. That is the plan, the initial plan. I think it will work. There's a couple things I need to figure out first. So one of those things here, maybe if I brought you closer, you'd be able to see better. Move this so that you get a different angle with the light overhead. What's that? Okay. So yeah, foil on the edges, not on the back of here, to hopefully allow the light to come through. The light will come through this top part. So part of what I'm wondering is if I need to use a darker top so that it's not too bright. Though maybe not. I'll definitely, I can do that now actually. Test how the light goes through the glass. Of course, when I brought you closer, I brought you over the wires. Plug this in. Let's see how it does. Okay. It's dimmable, so that's nice. Full brightness. How does it look coming through some of this glass? Let's see. I don't want the glass to fall off my work table. That'd be unfortunate. Now does that... I think it'll actually be okay to have the light. Because I think if I'm going to do a sunflower, sunflowers usually have a brown middle, right? So I'd use this. Interesting. I think I definitely want to fit as many LED lights as I can in there. This will definitely be like a good bedside lamp. Not necessarily designed to give a lot of light. Okay, let's see. Does it do what I think it would do if I illuminate, alongside here? It might not. All of this might be a waste. It might not be able to travel like like fiber optic. I don't know. We'll just have to do it. I can't really know what it's going to do until it's done, right? I mean, I'm sure I could make a small mock-up. Should I make a small mock-up? Should I make a small mock-up? See if this idea would work. It's pretty fun. Okay. So one of the other moved around a little. One of the other issues that I'm going to have to see if I can fix is this cord isn't actually that long. If you see, I can't fit, one of these into this small tube. So it has to be just the cord. And I could do this section of cord, but that means my stem is only that long. And I think, that's the max length that the stem could be. Like this pointing down into whatever I mount, and the mount having be, this thick to hold all of this, which could work. I definitely can't use this because that's a shorter section of wire. I can't use this. That's another shorter section of wire. I can use this length that goes to the plug, but then where does this go, right? It would have to go in the flower somewhere, so that doesn't work. So really it's this section. Is that long enough? Like there to there? Is that a big enough? It actually might be. Oh, but there's an issue with using this section, which is I can't fit the LEDs through it. I can't fit this through it. So I can't fit any of these cords into it. So I'm going to have to do what I thought I was going to have to do, which is to cut this wire and splice it with a different wire and connect it in through the tube and then reconnect everything. That would give me a longer section to work with than just that. Though that's not entirely terrible. It's not entirely terrible. Because I don't know if I would want a really tall lamp out of stained glass, because that risks balance and the stained glass falling over and breaking. So I definitely, either way, I'm going to have to cut it. And I can look at what size I want as I get closer to needing to make the step. Does that illuminate through? Doesn't really, does it? So it might not be. That might not work. That idea. This whole idea here. Why are you facing this way? Don't face this way. Face that way. Perfect. Thank you. This whole idea with the light essentially going underneath the foil might not work. Because if I foiled all of this, like I was doing with my other petals, I could just increase the size of my brush. Why am I foiled all of that and still had this. Like it still will hit this glass, right? But it won't hit the edge of the glass. I think I'm going to still try it with just these edges, foil on the edges, just in case. And then because also I think having the light strand in there, if this were entirely foiled, might cast shadows against the bottom side of the glass or the top side of the glass, depending on where the LEDs end up sitting. I don't really want shadows being cast. I want it to kind of just illuminate out from itself and not be like fighting itself, if that makes sense. Okay, so this is what is going to look like. Obviously, these petals aren't going to be blue. Let me move this out of the light again, out of the glare. These petals aren't going to be blue. They're going to be probably this amber yellow. This middle is going to be that kind of root beery brown. The question is on the back side. Okay, so I'm going to do like a sideways profile of the flower. So we got petals kind of all coming like this, right? We've got the brown on this side, some petals coming through, you know, you get the idea. Okay. The question is, how do I attach the stem, which will be copper, to this? Now, traditional sunflowers, I was looking at this earlier, have, you know, a large green back to them. So I could do that. I could use, you know, either I could individually cut out each one of these little petals of green and solder them all together, like a back side of the flower and then the front side of the flower. Or I could use a solid piece. Like if we look at this one, look at that. Like there's so much texture behind the petals. I almost feel like I should. Like I almost feel like I should do green petals. Which would be, hello darling, welcome home.
Hello.
You want me unmuted or are you
No,
good?
you're good.
I'm theory crafting right now.
Okay, talk to me.
So one thing I was talking about with the stream, all 0 viewers currently, is I'm going to try and do a system where I foil not the entire like butt of the glass,
Okay.
but just two sides. And I want to try that because then there will be a copper ring that intersects all those pieces.
Yeah.
But this bottom part won't be foiled, which will hopefully, in theory, allow more light to come
I like that idea.
through. I don't think it actually works. I used, sorry for my dogs running around in the background. I
They're
used,
excited that mom's home.
yeah, I used, I guess I didn't use this lighter yellow, but I tried to see if it would like kind of travel through.
Mm.
This lighter yellow actually almost works better. Can you see that?
Yeah. Looks nice.
How that kind of looks a little better. So I might use that lighter yellow that we have to do the petals.
Cool.
Right now I'm just trying to figure out what I want to do for the back,
Yeah.
because normal sunflowers have like this sort of thing going on. So I'm trying to decide if I make individual green petals or like a solid piece.
Yeah.
I don't know yet. Kind of figuring it out.
I like it. That sounds fabulous.
Yeah. Either way, there'll be this green backing.
Let's go upstairs.
I think I should do petals and then solder it. Because I think if I have a like cupped green back, let's decrease the pen size. If I have a cupped green back, and then I've got the, where it's black, there we go. I've got the cord coming up through, coming into here, and then the LEDs kind of, you know, twisted around in there. I think that would work. Question is, if I do green petals, how do I attach them to this system? Right. I don't know if I would want the light coming from behind. Like, I don't know what I mean by that is I don't know if I want the light being able to penetrate out this way, the back of the flower, as much. So maybe I do a double layer. Maybe I do, you know, a circular green piece, cut a hole in the middle, or even, you know, quarters or whatever I need to do, so that the tube can come up and then do, you know, various pieces of flower coming up. Pieces of leaf, I mean. I don't know if these drawings make sense to you. But essentially I'd have a circle of green, you know, probably yay big. I would put it in the kiln so that it curves. And then attach leaves to that. I think that's probably the best bet. So I'll have curve leaves, tube, petals, and then that in there, and then this is gonna be a pretty big project, which I'm actually kind of excited for. I'll have, you know, a couple leaves coming off of it like that. And then where did we just, and then probably mount it, you know, in some sort of wood thing. Have that connection underneath, the wires come through, the little control underneath here, and then off to plug. I think that's the idea. I think that's what I want to do. So then another question, what would the order of operations be? I kind of feel like I should work from the stem out, right? So get the stem, build these leaves, and then figure out the base. So 1 stem, 2 green base, 3 yellow petals, 4 middle. The only possible problem with that is the petals. Like I might need to attach them to the brown ruby middle piece first. I don't know. We'll kind of see as we go, but it's nice to know that first things first would be. Well, I actually don't even need to do the step first, right? How tall should this be? That's a genuinely good question. I don't know. I don't know how tall it should be. Set that aside. I don't rightly know, sir. Okay. Put this aside. Let's try that initial, wedge formation cut. I'll actually keep you here. I'm going to just briefly come over here with... I'm not going to actually use these because I might need them, right? If I'm going to use the yellow as... If I'm going to use that yellow as the base, I'll use this little piece. Let me just Dremel it real fast. Let's take a look at that. Now, the problem here is ensuring that I get actual ridges in the glass. Because if it ends up being just like a square cutout, then that's not going to work. That's not going to do anything. I'm trying to do it like an interior bevel, I guess. They do it in inlay work a lot, and that's essentially what this would be. I wonder if I need to go slower on the Dremel to not chip the glass. No, slower doesn't not chip the glass. You can see I was on that left side. I only did one angle, this angle, and the glass chipped already. I mean, if there's somewhat of an indent, that might be enough. Let's see. Let's see. Take a piece of foil, even more so than the other ones. I have to make sure that the foil at least fills the entire gap. Use the dull side edge of a razor. Basically trying to get it into the undercut. That's what it's called, right? An undercut. Okay. Plug in the soldering iron so it can start heating up. Naturally, if I were to do this on a pedal, I'll try and make sure that it's even on either side. For this test, I think this is fine. You want that solder to flow into the undercut, because that's what's going to give us our strength of holding it, not the glue underneath the copper. There is glue underneath the copper. That's why I call it copper tape. It's not that glue that's going to hold it. It's the solder in the undercut. Another thing I also want to look at today, I got along with the new glass, I got a new patina. Instead of a copper colored patina, it is actually black patina. I don't think I would do that for the sunflower, but I think it would be a fun thing to do somewhere. Not trying to do the prettiest job here, just trying to do it. This is where I would take an excess amount of solder and try and fill that hole. Okay. Should we attach something to it to see how much I can yank and tug on it before it gives way? I think so. cases of I heated up the copper wire a little too much and it just melted the entire thing. Well, that'll work. So let's cool it cool and see how much I can tug on that before it comes undone. I got some cleaning spray that's specifically designed for flux and patina. So that should be nice. Instead of just using normal household cleaners. Got myself another hand cutter. And then this black patina. Poison. Causes severe burns. Vapor harmful. Cool. This other patina is only harmful if swallowed, so, you know. And the flux is only fatal if swallowed. I'm glad that I've got something with some toxic fumes. Okay, cool. Wow. Okay. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm pulling pretty hard. I do angles. I mean, I can wiggle it this way, and that's gonna loosen it. See, there's a little wiggle there now. Like there was with the other stuff I tried, you know, going, this is the weak direction. This is the strong direction. This is a strong direction. But that seems, even though it's, you know, now technically loose in here, that just means that the glue no longer is holding it. It's just the solder that's in that gap. There we go. Oh, look at that. The only way it came out was by breaking the glass. You see that? It broke it all the way to that other indent. I mean, that's fascinating. Okay, that works. That definitely works. As long as I can make sure I don't crack the glass. I also don't need to necessarily worry if I'm going to do it with the pedals, right? I don't necessarily need to worry about making the indent only as deep as the foil on the edges. So what I mean by that is, let me pull this drawing utensil back out. So usually if I'm doing this on a section that you can see the foil, you've got the edge of your glass. Oh, here. Let's use a different color because that's a good foil color glass. It's a good foil color, I mean. You got your edge of your glass, right? The foil, when you wrap it around the edge of the glass, you know, comes down to about here, let's say. So I'm making my cuts, like the angled cuts that I normally do, I don't want to exceed that line. Because if I exceed this line and make the cut, you know, that deep, suddenly then when it gets to this section, you'll see the foil or the copper come out and follow that line. You see that? So usually I make my cuts only as deep as the foil will go. Only as deep as the foil wraps around, because then this fills with solder, this fills with foil, but you would never notice because it would just, it goes in line. That fills up with solder, that fills up with solder, giving it the strength, but you wouldn't be able to see it because it doesn't exceed that line of where the foil wraps around. All this is to say, if I'm doing this here, and I'm going to have another piece of glass, say this one, that's overlapping it, then I don't have to worry about that. I mean, if it was, this glass as clear as it is, and you could see through, then I would worry about it. But it would be a darker brown. You wouldn't be able to see through it as easily. And therefore, going deeper on the cut is fine. I can go, and I guess to explain again what I'm doing here, what I'm talking about, is I'm going to try and do a undercut like this. Nope. That was big. So that the glass looks like that. Because then this will all fill with solder and foil. And then it'll have a little bump out. Like you can see here, there's that little bump out on the side, bump out. Okay. Flinging things around. All right. Yeah, I wanted to see this black patina. It's poisonous patina. Not poisonous, toxic. Well, they really don't lie. That definitely does turn it black. That's pretty cool. I think that will be very, very cool on some projects. Look at that. There it goes. But, well, that's like, I don't want to say jet black, but that's definitely way darker. That's pretty cool. I like that. That'll be a fun thing to play around with. All right. Is there anything else I want to do today? Do I start working on it? I guess I could look to see how I would, if I wanted to do a circle of green, how I would punch a hole in the middle. There's a couple options. Let me see if I have them available. Set options. Not there. This. Okay, so one option is to actually use the grinder and put this head on it. You can see it kind of has a top that has the diamond or whatever bit grit stuff that they use is on the top. So I could theoretically possibly punch through that way. Or if I want to go way slower and or have a smaller hole, I can use the Dremel tool. And use this guy. Got a little bit of a burr tip. But I actually don't know if that would be good on glass. I don't think that's actually a good tip to use on glass. I want to test this. So come with me. Let's unplug the soldering iron so it's not just plugged in for no reason. Okay. My computer's on the cord, which is very helpful. You gotta see a little shot of my messy basement. Alright. There we go. Got this. There's a little Allen wrench in here. Use to take this off. Do I even need to take it off, or you just put this one on top? And I think I definitely need to worry about water because the grinder usually has the grinder usually has this wet sponge to help make sure the glass stays cool. But if I don't have that, then that's a problem. Okay, let's find a piece of glass I can use. How about I just, use a green like I would on the back. Use this green. Pretty nice green. I'm going to use a new green. Oh yeah, the glass on glass sound. Such a good sound. Love that sound. Could use this green. Do you like that? That's not green. You're a blue-ish. I think I want to use this. This is the iridescent one. Do I want to use the iridescent one? These are always hard decisions to make. I do have a dark green. This green. I wonder if I choose the green based upon the yellow. What goes good with this yellow that I would use? It's a little dark. See, this is why I don't know if I want to use this yellow. Because it's so pale and see-through that any color you put it next to, it will get dominated by. Sorry for the glass on glass sounds. Oh, they're not pretty. This one's a little bit more opaque. I think I would actually use this one over this guy. It's just too pale, too see-through, too clear, translucent, whatever you want to call it. I wonder if I want to use this guy because it's It's a little bit monotone. There's no texture to it, color-wise. So we'll rule him out. The iridescence is kind of fun. Let's do it. Let's do it! Okay. We've made our pick. How big should that back be? Maybe yay big, because then I'm going to have leaves coming off of it, and I can build that out as much as I want. If I go yay big, let's try it. I'm trying to save as much of the glass I can. So I'm not, I could cut a line all the way down, but I'm just going to curve it off there. So I can have larger chunk to work with in the future. Okay. That is not a good circle. Okay, let's slow down a second. Let's find a template, a circle template I can use. Ooh, cut myself. Oops. All right, it's fine. A circular template I can use. That's nice. We'll do that. Let me do it on this side so I don't get confused. Freehanding circles is all great and all, but if you want it to actually look like a circle, it's probably best to start with something that's already a circle. Okay. And I wonder why I cut myself earlier. Feeling klutzy today. Throwing things around. Okay. Roughly a circle. Very roughly a circle. these pieces aside. Okay. Circle. Cut finger. All right, let's see how this goes. Not well, is the answer. Yeah, it's not really cutting at all. It's okay. We'll do basically just a line down the center of it. This will actually probably just be better. I'm actually going to cut all of these, cut this into quarters. Okay, and then that little gap that I made. if this wasn't the back side of the flower, that was going to be hidden with other little pieces of glass. I'll make sure I was exactly perfect right in the middle. But this is going to be hidden by other pieces of glass, so it doesn't matter. Cut off that inside corner to simulate a hole. Perfect. Did you see the hole I made in it? It's all put together. That will allow the cord to come up and through. Okay. Now, like, wipe the blood off the grinder. Move these tools, vacuum this up. Okay. Last but not least, let's fire this thing. What I'm going to do, let me move you back to the main event. Switch with the glasses. I need to figure out where this glass is going to live. Come on back. Come on back. Okay. So, pieces aren't exactly cut into perfect quarters, but we've got our circle. And this will come into that circle. Fits in there nicely. This is all making room for the solder, so it's not going to sit perfectly onto each other. There's going to be a little bit of gap because of the copper tape and the solder. And that'll fit in there. Lovely. And then I made this mold, I think the first strain. And I think I'm going to figure out a way to keep these up here. That's why I would have liked to have been able to drill this hole without doing these lines. I would have made firing it a little easier. As it is, I'll find a way to make it work, probably by propping it up with other pieces. Like if I have this piece there, could I prop it up? Prop it back like that, give it a little bit more. I think that will work. Figuring out how to make this work, you know? Need to center it a little better. But that's what I'm going to do. Prop it up like that in the kiln. Let me wipe off the Sharpie. I know the Sharpie would burn off, but I'm just going to try and keep this as close to just glass as I can. Let's get washed out with, I need to check those settings. See if I can figure out a way to make it so that the camera doesn't automatically wash out on you when there's a piece of glass reflecting light at it. Okay. Kiln. I'll bring you over so you can see. And you prop up that front leg or something. I don't know. It's a great view, right? You get that not really seeing what's happening, but kind of seeing what's happening. It's perfect. I'll do the iridescent side out. Because I want the iridescent side to be seen. And I make the flower. One more piece. We can fire this thing off. I love shaking hands when you're trying to do something like this. Okay, I think that will work. I hope that will work. Plug this in. All right, there we go. Okay. So I think that's where I'll end it today. Just a hour and 15-minute stream. Got this going. Gonna figure out, clean up where I want to put the glass. And yeah, thanks for joining me. I'll be doing this again on Monday. I think on Monday I'm gonna be building out more of those petals. green petals, firing them off, and working from there. Yeah. All right. Thanks for joining me. I'm going to play around with the settings to hopefully stop it from washing out on you. See you next time. Bye.